Welcome into Mavericks Today. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Today's show sponsored by Mint Mobile, the cell phone wireless provider that is owned by actor Ryan Reynolds. They offer phone plans for just $15 per month. Go save some money today by going to mintmobile.com/chatsports. All right, on today's show, I'm going to take a look at some Mavericks point guard targets, 5 players the Mavs could sign to beef up that point guard position. They haven't really properly replaced Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, because when you look at the Mavs roster right now, these are kind of your top 10 guys here. Yeah, Luka Doncic, Spencer Dinwiddie, and it sounds like Dinwiddie is going to start. Who's your backup point guard? You don't really have one. Frank Ntilikina's not that guy. I don't think Jaden Hardy's ready to be there. Tim Hardaway Jr. is not a point guard. You need a third ball handler. That's basically the point I'm trying to make. So on today's show, I'm going to explore 5 free agent options that the Mavs could try to target to bring in a third ball handler. Who's your dream signing or trade target? Doesn't have to be a point guard. Just let me know. If you could go out and get any player that you want, who would it be? Let us know in the comments section, and then we will explore those 5 point guard targets. Number 1, a very familiar name because we have talked about him quite a bit. It is restricted free agent point guard Collin Sexton with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's the dream. He is the dream for the Dallas Mavericks because if you get Sexton on board, you are a better team, in my opinion, than you were last year because you're bringing in a career 20-point scorer who can create for himself, get a bucket, efficient three-point shooter for his career, right around 38%. He can dish a little bit. His last full season of playing, he averaged 4.5 assists per game for what that's worth as well. Sexton makes this team better than it was a year ago. Right now, I don't know if you can say it's better. You lost Brunson, you brought in Christian Wood and JaVale McGee. Is that kind of a net even deal? Maybe, but you desperately need another ball handler, in my opinion. And if you could get one that can also get a bucket like Collin Sexton can, that is a really, really nice pickup for the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, you're probably going to have to work out some sort of a sign and trade with Cleveland to pull it off. So what do you think when it's all said and done? Will the Mavs get Collin Sexton? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Next up is Eric Bledsoe, who remains unsigned in free agency. And Bledsoe, for a long time in his career, was a pretty solid player, and he's still okay, but the decline has definitely started to hit. Last year, averaged about 10 points per game, 42% from the field, didn't shoot great from 3. I don't think he's going to be a 15, 16-point scorer like he was just a few years ago, but can he come in here and be fairly productive? Maybe, but his best days are behind him. He's on the decline. He's okay at this point in his career. Decent defender, decent ball handler. A problem with him is he's not great off ball, so I don't know how much you could play him with Luka. I think if you brought him on board, you'd want him being the primary ball handler off the bench. But I think as a cheap option, a fallback option, you could do worse than a guy like Eric Bledsoe. Now, today's sponsor, Mint Mobile, is really an easy way to save some money because with inflation impacting all of us, you can switch your cell phone provider to Mint Mobile. They offer premium wireless with plans at just starting $15 per month, unlimited talk and text, which is fantastic. A lot of these bigger wireless companies actually don't offer that. You only get a couple gigs per month before you have to pay extra, so that's a great deal. High-speed data, it's part of the largest 5G LTE network, and what's cool is depending on your location, it'll switch seamlessly between 5G and 4G. Like, depending on where you are, 4G may actually be the better service, so it'll just switch that for you. Free mobile hotspot is a nice benefit as well. Get started today, mintmobile.com/chatsports. Plan starting at just $15 per month. Cool feature as well, if you want to keep your phone and your phone number, you can do that. They will send you an eSIM card. You're able to switch seamlessly, all digitally. It's very easy, and you're going to be good to go. So mintmobile.com/chatsports. Link in the comments and in the description of the video. All right, how about Dennis Schroder? Dennis Schroeder's an interesting case because I actually am a pretty big fan of him. You look at his last couple of seasons, a couple years ago with the Lakers, averaged about 15.5 points and 6 assists. This past year with the Celtics and the Rockets, averaged about 13.5 and 5. Still shot the ball pretty well this year, just like he did the year before. Now, the caveat here, Dennis Schroder, German basketball player, Dirk Nowitzki, German. Apparently, Dirk does not like Dennis Schroder. Like, years ago, he told the Mavs, like, no one likes him. He's not a guy to bring in. Now, could that – Dirk's obviously not playing anymore. Yes, his voice has an impact in the building. Could you look past that? I don't know. I don't know if that's a bridge that is burned or not. What I do know is I like Dennis Schroder as a sixth man. I think when he's coming off the bench as a combo guard, whether he's running the point or playing the two, I think in this case he'd be running the point, obviously. He's really effective. A couple years ago, Sixth Man of the Year finalist with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He really has flourished in that role in his career, and I think he could do it again for a fairly cheap price. So I wouldn't completely dismiss this. I get the whole Dirk thing, and obviously, if Dirk flat out says don't bring him here, they're not going to. But I do think he could be a guy that could leave an impact. Would you sign Dennis Schroder? Simple question. Type S for sign, type P for pass. Be honest with me down in the comments of the video. All right, Kemba Walker next up here, and big name, not such a big player at this point, as he's just had some really bad knee issues, tendinitis, arthritis problems over the last few years. The decline has been pretty quick. Now, he's never been a good defensive player, but, just a few years ago, he was well north of 20 points per game, and last year, only in 37 games, 11.5 points, not bad, 3.5 assists, 3 rebounds, still a decent three-point shooter at 36.7%. He can still shoot it a little bit and can score, but he can't defend at all, so I think that kind of limits how many minutes per game he can play. Back-to-backs are tough for him because of his knees, but he could score a little bit. He'll randomly go off for 25. He had a few games like that with the Knicks before they shut him down and kind of mutually agreed to not play him anymore. But, he's not the player he was a few years ago when the Mavericks actually pursued him in free agency before he signed with the Celtics. If the Mavs do sign Kemba or any of these other players, we'll have a video for you guys. So go ahead and subscribe right now, youtube.com/MavsTV. We'll continue to bring you videos just about every day. All right, one more name here, DJ Augustine, who finished last year with the Los Angeles Lakers. He's played for a ton of teams in his career and has actually historically usually played pretty well against the Dallas Mavericks. He could still shoot the basketball, 42.6% from three last year. In limited time, about 16 minutes per game. So I don't think compared to maybe a couple of the other players, he would have as big of a role, but I think he could give you 15 to 20 minutes off the bench and, run an offense and shoot the basketball. He can give you some runs still. He's not what he was, a few years ago, but as just a veteran rotation guy, like a 10th man in a rotation, I think he's a decent option. Now, is he a third pure ball handler on a good team? I don't know. I don't really view him as that at this point in his career. But if you want to go cheap, if you just need a guard that you can somewhat trust, he could be an option that is better than a Trey Burke, for example, in my opinion. All right, subscribe to Mavericks Today, youtube.com/MavsTV. We will continue to keep you guys in the loop with everything surrounding your Dallas Mavericks. I'm Harrison Graham. We will see you guys soon here on the channel.